I am Reese Anderson. I'm on USAT's Project Podium developmental team. Yeah, this year's been a lot. It's been ups and downs. It started really strong with the year, beginning in Napier, and then the 3 wins. And then kind of having like a little bit of a rough patch in there. But I think that's what makes the sport so interesting, is because like through the ups, there's always going to be the downs. And then like to come back from the downs and go into Girona and have a really good block, and then have probably one of my best executed races ever in Toulouse, and then another really solid race at U23s, to kind of come back from that after like the middle of the year not being so good for me means a lot. And I think that shows a lot of resilience in what the sport's about. Like if we're just talking about trips and you take the races away from it, I still think Chengdu is always going to be a really big highlight for me, because that's my first win at the World Cup level. But the whole week was just a really amazing experience with the guys that were there. It's pretty rare for us to go to a place where Parker really hasn't been before. Once we got there, we were an hour and a half away from the race course, but we were in this like super sick town. Just kind of being in a part of the world that not a lot of people get to go is really cool. And then to top it all off with a World Cup win, and then the week in Dubai and Samarkand afterwards just kind of was a big highlight, and I think my favorite trip of the year. It was really cool to spend that much time away, and I think for a mental reset, it was really good for me to be back in like a place where I find really happy. Yeah, it was the first time that I had like stayed with Mathis and Parker together for like a long period of time. I just felt like I had my 2 brothers with me, and my little brother Parker just trying to mess with us the whole time. It's a professional team. It was a lot easier for me to move past races like Hamburg when I flatted out, because there was really nothing I can do about that. Toronto, where it wasn't necessarily like physical performance, it was something that I just couldn't do in transition. God, that was so embarrassing. Or even Toulouse, having such a good race and then crashing out. Like that doesn't even bother me that much, just because I was having such a good performance on the day, and like I showed my form. It was days like Chicago that was the hardest day of the year for me, for sure. It was probably the worst day I've ever had in the sport. I think coming out of that is what has made my back half of the year so strong, because it kind of gave me the hunger that I had at the beginning of the year, and then the motivation to show that that's not me and I'm a lot better than that. So to go into Toulouse and do what I did against the best guys in the world in the grand final is really, really meaningful. Yeah, like a big overview, even going back to 2024 and kind of comparing the 2 seasons to this year, like at face value, I probably had about the same success on paper, but if you actually dive into the results of the 2025 year versus 2024, to win a World Cup my first year out of juniors, which has only been done 3 times, and 2 of them were this year, just shows that like the progress is there, and the performances keep going. There's a lot of levels to this sport, and I wasn't really shown everything last year. I raced 1 super tri race and was off the back the whole day, and then this year just stuck in it and really show the difference between year to year really meant a lot. And I think something I'll take into 2026 is just that it's a really long road ahead to get to where Hauser, Hidalgo, and Vasco are consistently, but I'm still very young and I have time on my side. It's a really interesting sport, and the human body is really unique, so I just kind of got to go into each race with an open mind and just go for the best on that day.
Who am I? I'm Braxton Legg. Not do that again.
Who are you?
I am Braxton Legg.
Nice. What team are you on?
Project Podium.
Sweet, dude.
What this year meant to me. That's tough. A lot of development. I feel like you talking about Cuba, it's like I felt like I'm a different person, athlete-wise at least. So it's pretty cool to look back on, like how much I developed as an athlete, racing and everything. I think that a lot of those wins and so much training with the guys that went into it that it was almost like it felt like it was supposed to happen. And like I went into the races, I wouldn't use the word overly confident, but just like comfortable. Like I knew what to expect.
What race out of the year stands out to you the most?
Well, Pan American Games was pretty awesome. That was such a fun experience. Me and Blake Bullard going 1-2 at that race was pretty awesome. Shout out Blake. He got second there. It was such a cool experience with like it being in games, having the relay as well. I went back-to-back golds with the individual and the relay. Being there, so many people were like the people of the country were like just really proud of hosting the race, and so that was really cool just to be able to win there. But I don't know, I feel like a race that really sticks out to me a lot is Montreal. That was even just the Connie Cup. That one I'm really proud of.
What was it like being in that contention for winning a race like Magog, then having your teammate Porter run away from the pack and taking home that victory? What was that like?
Oh, honestly, the whole like way back, we was 2-lap run out and back, and I had fallen off of Porter and Liam. And there was nothing I could do for the win at that point. I had secured third place, and I was like watching up in front. I was watching Porter, and I was like honestly like cheering for Porter to beat Liam, as like I was racing for third still. I still had like some guys coming up behind me. That was finished third, but it felt like a victory, us going 1 and 3. Part of it's like the competitiveness, like you want to see the people that you train with every day also do well. I don't know, it's more fun whenever you're someone that you compete with on a daily basis go and perform really well as well. It's fun to see. When you say exploring, my mind immediately goes to Cuba. That was first triathlon of the year, and me and a shout out to Blake Bullard again, he got second there. Porter had a great day, he was top 10, and afterwards, a few of us went and like walked around the city, and it was just like we walked through some crazy areas, and it's just like super cool to see. I think something that I want to leave behind, how uncomfortable I was with the volume of training at the beginning of the year. I think I've already gotten a lot better with it. Starting the year, it was a huge struggle just for me to finish everything in training. I think I've done a lot better on it in the past several months, but that's something that I plan on entering 2026 with just no issue with day-to-day life. Just able to chug along, no problem.
Who are you?
Keller.
Keller.
Keller Norland. I'm on Project Podium.
Oh yeah.
This year was a huge learning experience for me. I've never had to deal with an injury before. Having to deal with the bulged disc in my back it still bothers me a little bit to this day. I still haven't fully recovered from the nerve damage from that. So having to deal with that has been really interesting, and I've learned a lot about myself. Just really having to trust my body in everything I do, listen to what my body's telling me, and trust that that's what I should be doing. But with all the stuff that didn't go right this year, I did have some highs. Having my first win in Kelowna was pretty awesome. Sharing the podium with Reese again was a good feeling. That was a huge confidence booster for me. But unfortunately, I flew to Europe. I was planning on doing a Super League race and a World Cup in Rome in October, but the day after I got there, I tore the soleus in my calf. Couldn't run for 3 weeks. I was swimming a lot, biking a lot. Honestly, kind of just got to enjoy 2-3 weeks in Girona, which sucked. I wasn't able to race, but on the positive, I was in a really beautiful place with a lot of awesome people and was able to enjoy that. So I took 3 weeks off of running, went home for about a month, started running again. I'm 3 weeks into running right now, and everything feels amazing, no pain, and heading to race down in Chile and Brazil on Monday is when we leave. So this year was a crazy year. There wasn't really anything that stood out in Napier necessarily. Like, we didn't do one spectacular thing, but just New Zealand, that trip in general, I really enjoyed. That's probably one of my favorite places outside of the US that I've ever been. China was just incredible, like nothing I've ever seen or experienced before. The food, the culture, just everything about China is just nothing like it is back home at all. Although I've raced 8 times this year, I've only raced 1 time since June. My one race in the last however many months that's been, 3 or 4, was a win, which is a huge confidence booster for me. I spent the last month doing a big training block in Oregon with a lot of swimming, a lot of volume, a lot of intensity, and my swim is feeling really good right now. So I realized that going into a race, like feeling confident in my swim makes me feel a lot more confident in the race overall. If I think my swim is weak, then I tend to get in my head more and not race as well. So I'm feeling really confident in the swim. The run is coming back to normal after the injury, and the bike is just as strong as it always has been. So I'm feeling really confident. I'm ready to go. Never been to Chile or Brazil before, so I'm excited for that. I think what I learned this year is going to be really important going forward, how to deal with the stress and the feeling of defeat when I do get injured or do get sick or have something pop up right before a race. I think this year I've had to teach myself how to kind of just not push my emotions to the side necessarily, but just deal with them and just move forward and not dwell on things that are happening, because the reality is if I miss a race now, I'll probably race again in a month or so. I think just taking that with me for really the rest of my career, that there's always more opportunities, and if I'm missing one, there's always going to be others, is huge. And that's a really big thing that I learned this year, just going through all the injuries and sicknesses and all the bumps that I had to get over this year.
My name's Sullivan Middaugh. I'm on Project Podium triathlon team. Yeah, I think this season consistency was pretty important, but I also had a lot of races that didn't go as well as I would have liked, like Hamburg and Supertri Chicago. But I think that I just make the most of every race and see what happens. Yeah, I think that my swim improved a lot this year, but maybe not quite enough that it needs to be. And so I think that that's just a work in progress all the time. And when I hopped in those super competitive fields, the swim was a lot stronger than I was ready for. And yeah, this year my race schedule is set up a little bit more strategically with some big breaks of training blocks in between each race to be able to not just be racing every other weekend and really focus on training. And as far as XTERRA, I think that the main goal is still draft legal, and XTERRA still allows me to have a lot of fun with triathlon, and the off-road is my background. I love trail running and I love mountain biking, and so when I have the opportunity to do an XTERRA, it's always really fun for me. Yeah, I think that all those races, Columbia, Alabama, even XTERRA Worlds, Napier, La Paz, those were all really good races for me, and I remember feeling really strong in each of those. I think that the races that also stand out to me this season are the races that I didn't perform so good, and I think that I always take those away as a learning experience and try to grow to the next one. Yeah, I think heading into 2026, I really want to focus on hitting the races I want to hit, and I think that planning a strategic race schedule is important, but I think this off season I'll really be focusing on my weaknesses, like the swim and just other little things that I need to work on, and hopefully just improve for next year. I know I have a lot of time to get ready for it, and I think that provides a perfect opportunity to dial in and take some time and work on what I need to and be patient with it.
Who am I?
Yeah.
I'm Mathis Beaulieu, and I'm 21 years old. I'm from Canada. I'm in USA Project Podium. I mean, definitely it was more of a strange season for me this year because I think it's like the first time I never got really hurt. I was training in a group, so I got to see like an environment where like everything was like set up like every day. So I think it was way better than what I used to be like in Quebec, where we train like in a group, but it's not very like professional. I got really better, and I think it was better for my performance. And the other thing is like people here like to have fun, so that I think that's the best point of being here. I think, yeah, having fun. Honestly, that was the most confident I ever was before a race. I knew I had like a whole year to prepare for this, even if I was like coming back from an injury in like January. But yeah, that was the most training I ever had with a group, especially. And I know I was running with like Reese, and I knew he was telling me he was fit too. So I was like not too worried about where my fitness was. So I was stressed like every world championship, but I was not like extremely stressed. I was just like, it's another race. And I surprisingly had a good swim. And after that, I was feeling really, really good on the bike. And maybe I was feeling too good, and I was not like, I don't know. I think I was concentrated, but I just didn't see it coming. And I don't know, maybe somebody cut me off or I went in the wheel of somebody, but yeah, I fell, and yeah, I was angry at myself, and yeah, it's pretty much it. But yeah, there was some good. I swam well, I felt really good on the bike, and I knew that my strength was around, so I guess that was good progress. I think there's only two. I think, honestly, every trip were really nice because we were with a team. I think Montreal, because it was like I kind of know that circuit, and like every of my friends were there, and that was really fun, like hearing my friends cheering for me. China was really sick, but I was stressed like the whole week. My bike, not making it there. After that, it was like the first World Cup of the year. That was fun, but I was really stressed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What about going to see the pandas? That's pretty cool.
Oh, that was really fun. Yeah, never get to see pandas, but they kind of look like bears, to be honest. I don't know. I had too much hype watching Kung Fu Panda when I was young, so I don't know. I thought it was way more special, but it looked fluffy. I would have liked petting them. That I would have liked. I mean, this year was really good for me. I think it was my first year with Project Podium, and it's an awesome group. What I would like to leave behind me, definitely my 2 broken arms, and yeah. No, I don't think I have any bad aspect of this year. I think it was just learning, and it was really fun. And yeah, especially I had fun doing it. So yeah, I think it was a great year.
My name's Blake, and I'm on Project Podium. It was my last year as a junior. I'm stepping into U23 next year, and I know it's going to be a big jump, and it's been a long time as a junior, and it's been tons of fun, and I've had a great time, but I'm ready to go into U23, and I think as I prepare into next season, I'll be even more prepared then. But I'm constantly improving all the time, and at the end of the day, that's all you can ask for. If you're looking at success, I think Iquique was obviously up there for that. Just my first Connie Cup win, which you can never complain about. And then just being the team aspect, obviously La Paz or Colima were super fun, being with the whole team in the Airbnbs and just hanging out with everyone all day for like a week was super fun. Junior Nationals, it might have not looked like I dug deep, and towards the end I might have not been pushing quite as hard, but I mean, every race is a race, and you kind of have to treat it like you're gonna dig all the way. So I was doing everything I could until about 2.5 miles into the run when I was like, okay, this is done. Like I can kind of start having fun. But I think that just being able to train with the team has been incredibly helpful for me, and just I kind of owe all my success to being able to be here and be supported and be training with the group. Just in all three sports, I'm getting pushed all the time by different people on the team, just always trying to do more. Try to be competitive and beat each other, but also at the same time, everybody's just improving as you're trying to kind of beat each other every time. There's definitely been things that haven't worked so well this year that I'm going to try to change going into next year. Mainly my run volume, I'm going to try to increase, and then my bike volume and intensity almost is going to try to increase those to be able to improve my bike, so I'm able to hang on to groups better and even just have easier bikes. Because something I've learned over the past year is the stronger a biker you are, even if you aren't a better runner, you run substantially better in a triathlon. So like, I wouldn't say I'm that much better of a runner now than I was 6 months ago, but I'm a better biker, so I'm able to run better. And I'm going to try to improve my bike to be able to improve my run and just become a more complete triathlete is the goal at the end of the day. Just overall for the whole year, I'm super happy with how the whole year has gone, and whether that's podiums or wins, or it was a not great race for me, I'm just still learning, and I'm young, and I just want to be as good as I can on the day, and I'm looking forward to next year.
I'm Blake Harris. It's me.
All right, bud. Well, you've had quite the busy year, competing in 13 races.
To be honest, I didn't even know that I had raced that much until you just said it. I think some of the guys started about 2 months earlier than me in the year. So I don't feel like I've been racing that much. Mentally still feel like I'm ready to race a fair bit more. So that's why I'm going till December this year. I think probably the favorite for this year has been either Colima Conti Champs or Paraguay. Colima was a really cool race. We'd been there before, so it's kind of familiar with that layout. But this year being a Conti Champs instead of a Conti Cup, it was a fair bit bigger. There was a lot bigger names, and then being able to have a good race on that day really made that day better. And then Paraguay was, major games for the Canadian Olympic Committee, so it was super cool to be a part of. And once we were in Encarnacion, it was kind of the same as a Conti Cup, but in Ascension, which was where the main games were, that was pretty cool. We were on the main village, so we got to go to the closing ceremonies and then meet a lot of the members of the Canadian Olympic Committee. The environment around Ascension was definitely a really cool games environment, but Encarnacion was very similar to a Conti Cup over there. Yeah, I think the Australia trip in total was, in general, was kind of one of the favorite trips for sure. Just we were there a bit longer, got to experience Australia a little bit more. But I think if it was one moment, it would be that afternoon in Colombia when we went down to that waterfall and stuff in that national park there. I think that was really cool, especially because there's not that many races in the year that we get to do touristy stuff around, and that was definitely one of them. That was pretty cool. Yeah, I think going into next year, I think in the past I've been fairly consistent, but unfortunately this year, very much not so. So I think, if I could get back to that consistency in race results that I used to be, that would be a good plus, both in results, but also in what the world rank ends up looking like after the year. Yeah, so I'm going to do the South American 3 races, doing Chile, and then Brazil, and then I come back for like 3 weeks or so, and then Indian Wells. So I'm excited for the back half of the season. I feel like I'm just kind of now entering that like fall season now, and I don't know, ready to go for the rest of the year.
And so going into Indian Wells, that's going to be your first long distance race. Why are you getting into long course racing?
Yeah, long course racing is always, I feel like, as long as I've kind of been in triathlon and a fan of triathlon, I've really enjoyed kind of following and watching that middle distance and long course racing. I had the opportunity to go race Indian Wells, so I thought it would be a really good kind of end of the year tryout out.
So where are you?
Carter Stulmacher with USAT Project Podium. Yeah, at the beginning of the year, I just think I went a bit too deep too early, and ended up just kind of dealing with some extreme fatigue or like some slight like overtraining issues, something like that. And then eventually got to the point where I could kind of do like 1 or 2 workouts a day, like pretty consistently. And slowly but surely, I got back to where I was like before I had the issues at the beginning of the season. Yeah, so Cuba, like I went there, and I had kind of started dealing with a little bit of the issues that I had been experiencing right before I went. Got done with the race and I was not happy, pretty upset with how I did. Yeah, that's when I had to take a little bit of a longer break after that one, just because I wasn't sure quite what was wrong with me. A little bit later in the season, like July, I raced Magog and Montreal. And that was a pretty fun trip. I mean, the races didn't really go to plan there. And I really focused like enjoying the second week we were in Canada, just because like the first race didn't go well. And I knew it'd be kind of tough to have a crazy turnaround for the second race, even though I was still hoping for it. But really just enjoying the second week made that trip pretty fun. Or after those races, I kind of took a different approach to my training, where I just went a lot longer, but maybe a bit more steady. And then my results seemed to change very quickly from there.
It's such a close race in Viña del Mar. Such an exciting race to watch. What was kind of going through your mind?
I looked out at the ocean and saw like a pretty big swell, which is a cold, rough sea swim, which is just perfect for me. So instantly, like I'm looking at the waves and I have a big smile on my face, like I'm ready to go. Had a really good swim, felt pretty comfortable, was able to get a bit of a gap out of the water. Rode pretty conservatively, like I took some turns in the group, was just not trying to kill myself on the bike. Something like I kind of got used to this season was getting off the bike and just not being able to run fast. Like it was kind of a shock, like when I got off and I was able to match the speed of like the people around me. And then I was like, all right, let's go. Caught up to first, like let's try to win this thing. And then on the blue carpet, he surged once and I was able to respond, got up next to him again. He surged twice and I was able to respond again, but just didn't quite have enough to get around and end up second by like less than a second. It was really close finish, but still a really good performance. This one weekend, I did a 6-hour ride with a 4-mile runoff, and then the next day I did a 16-mile long run. After I finished the long run, I get a call from Parker, hey, I need you to be in Jersey tomorrow so you can come race Super Tri. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And actually, I felt really good like leading up to the race until the day before. So when I started the race, I was having trouble breathing like in the water and stuff like that. And I had an okay first swim, like I think I was like 4th out of the water or something like that. But I got on the bike and I was just really like having trouble breathing. Lost a bunch of positions there and my run wasn't terrible. Kind of was affected by the sickness and wasn't able to do as well as I hoped for. But yeah, definitely helped out with getting that experience again this year to go race Super Tri. I feel a lot better towards the end of the season than I did at the beginning, that's for sure. Still got one more race to go, 70.3 in Indian Wells, California, at the beginning of December, but things have been going really well, or things have been going in the right direction during training, so ready for it.
I'm Jime De La Peña.
And what team are you on, Jime?
Project Podium.
Heck yeah, team.
Yeah, I think being on a team with only boys can be pretty weird from the outside, I think, but being here has, like, I think really pushed me because boys tend to train a little harder than girls, I would say. So they definitely push me to my limits, but you get used to it and it's been pretty fun. They're all like my older brothers. It gets really funny sometimes. I think training as a group has really helped me. It's not that easy to train alone, but having all the guys around and the whole team has really helped motivate on the days where you don't want to train, and I think the days where you don't want to do anything are the most important days to get to succeed.
What race stands out to you the most?
I'm gonna say Worlds, just because it was my last junior race and it was pretty nerve-wracking because of that reason, but at the same time it was relaxing kind of to know I just had to go out there and have fun without any expectations because it was the last time I was gonna race juniors. But also Colima, it's the first time and only race I've gotten to break away, basically almost to lead most of the race, and I got to do it with one of my friends, so I think that was very fun. It was also a very hard course, so I was really proud of that. The day we went to the waterfall was pretty cool, I think so. Because after the race, we all got to go together to do a fun activity. Like it was not just racing, but also doing a cool activity and visiting the city with all of our friends, which I think I don't usually do when I usually travel to races, but it's nice to like get your mind off of racing for a bit and like visit new things. I've also never hiked to a waterfall, so I think that was really cool. I'll definitely be taking to 2026 all of the fun experiences and all the laughs. Pretty much all the trips we had with the team and all the workouts that pushed me a little too much, but were like really good to break a mental barrier. And I'll take away all the mistakes I made. I wish I had a little bit more success in this year, but I had an injury halfway, so that kind of set back things a little bit. But I think for next year, I'll take a lot of patience and motivation.
I am Porter Middaugh.
Sweet. So this year alone, you've done 10 races, and at one of them, you were able to pull off a victory.
Yeah, I think taking the first win was definitely a load off the chest. At the beginning of last year, we kind of did a goal setting session, and the first thing I wrote down is that I wanted to win a race. Being able to pull that off after a really solid spring of training, just coming off of a really good block, kind of validated a lot of what I was doing here. And yeah, it was a close race. It kind of was a huge confidence boost, and something I'll obviously remember for the rest of my life, with it being my first win, but definitely something I want to build off of. Obviously you're always hungrier for more, especially in a team environment like this and kind of seeing everybody compete. But I think it's definitely important to take a step back and be proud of the progress that we put in, the work that we put in, and yeah, stay hungry for next year.
You and your brother are the only ones to have competed in the XTERRA circuit this year.
Yeah, so the XTERRAs are always kind of a big family event for Sullivan and I. So being able to kind of compete with my family in Alabama, that was actually the first XTERRA that I had done that wasn't the home XTERRA or Worlds. In terms of training and how it benefits us, I think something that really translated from XTERRA to this year was the road biking. I think when I was training for XTERRA, I got into really good cycling shape. Even though I was mainly on the mountain bike, I just felt super strong on the bike. The technical skills were super sharp, and overall just my aerobic engine definitely felt a bit stronger. And so I think it's never a bad thing to do a little bit of training for XTERRA, dabble it in, and next year I kind of hope to follow that same pattern and do a couple XTERRAs and then hit XTERRA Worlds and hopefully be competitive in it. Every place kind of has like a little memory that you carry with you from it, and so I think it's really hard to choose a specific place because the places were so different. And so like you said, I started my season in Cuba, which almost be brought back in time, honestly. And then you see kind of a polar opposite with somewhere like Sydney in the Opera House, and getting to experience the nature in Colombia and having a pretty surreal waterfall hike. Another one is my mind immediately goes to the Dolomites and XTERRA. You really get to explore the places because you have your bicycle with you, you're out in nature. Lots of good memories from this year.
Unfortunately, this year you had a pretty gnarly crash. Do you think that had any serious effects on your season?
I think whenever you crash, like I did earlier this year, your mind immediately puts some other things in perspective. I was really lucky to walk away. Your mind immediately goes to how thankful you are when you are healthy and are doing well, because unfortunately a lot of times in the sport crashes can happen and people do get taken out for many months at a time. And so I think whenever you crash, it's important to remember and kind of be thankful for the times that you are healthy. Walking away from the season, I have a lot to be happy with. The highs and lows are definitely very prominent in this sport, and something I don't know if I was quite prepared for myself. I think there's a huge learning curve, but being in Australia and watching the best guys and girls in the world go at it kind of reminded me what the ultimate goal is in this sport. And I think getting there and every step that you take in getting there is ultimately going to be well worth it. I know where I want to be. I know what I have to do to get there, and it's kind of going through those ups and downs that ultimately allow you to rise to the top.
I'm Parker Spencer. I'm the head coach of Project Podium. Yeah, that's it.
What year is it?
All right, so I'm Parker Spencer. I'm the head coach of Project Podium. It's the 2025 season. Season's coming to an end, and this program, we started this in 2018, so we're now going into finishing the 7th season of Project Podium. So the 2025 season has been the most successful season Project Podium's had yet. A couple reasons why that's the case is obviously the athletes that we have are world class, they're talented. The recruitment that we've done in the past few years has really paid off. I think the team culture is also at an all-time high. These guys really want to support each other in training and outside of training. Then we've also partnered with really smart people around the world. Sebastian Weber is someone who's made a big impact on our team the last 2 seasons. We partnered with him back at the end of 2023, and that's why 2025 and 2024 I think were also really big years. We're partnering with people who are on the forefront of exercise physiology, and we're implementing that into the training process every day. When I think about all the travel that we've done this year, it's pretty unbelievable how many places that we've been, and we've literally been all over the planet. I really liked every single trip that we went on. We accomplished something big at every single race that we went to, whether it's a Connie Cup win or a World Cup win, or their 3rd Connie Cup win, or their first win in a while. Cuba, where we had 2 guys on the podium, to going to New Zealand, where we had 2 guys in the top 10 in a World Cup, which has hardly ever been done in the US. And then La Paz, where we had most of the team in the top 10 that day. Chengdu, where we had the program's first World Cup win. And Mathis being injured for a lot of last year, joining our program, and then being on a World Cup podium just a few months later. Those are just a few of the stories, like Keller being back on the podium after not being on in a while. Going down to Paraguay and those guys just crushing it in the Junior Pan American Games. Race after race after race, I think there's something big that's been accomplished. And even when we've partnered with Super Tri and done what we've done there, it's been really challenging. And that's the whole reason why we've done it, is to expose our athletes to some really challenging formats and against some of the best in the world, and just to see the progress that those have made that did get the opportunity to race makes me excited for them to race again next year, but then also to give our other athletes some opportunity to race that format. So that's a long answer of I can't really pick 1 race or 2 races or 3. It has been a really good year, and I've enjoyed all of it. Whether it's showing up to the wrong hotel an hour and a half away, shout out Nirvana in China, or the guys thinking it's funny to throw me in the pool with all my clothes on and shoes and have to wear my carbon shoes to the pool to coach that day. Everyone is having a lot of fun in the background at the same time, and I think that's what's awesome about us being able to capture that and show people that you can be really good at the sport and be enjoying your life at the same time. watching the guys be able to celebrate each other's success is important and something I'm really proud of. But then also watching them kind of come around each other when they haven't been successful and they've had a hard day. That just the team support is something I'm really, really proud of. 2025 has still been a big step forward. While we've got guys here that I believe will go to 2028, we've also got more guys that I think will go to 2032. This has been a big step in the right direction. We went years, like there was entire seasons where I don't think, not only did we not have a win, but I think we might have not even had a podium one year. And so it's pretty cool to see where it's come. One of the things I feel like I've learned the most specifically from last year is when Chris Hammer joined the program and I started coaching him, his goal was always to get on the podium at the Paralympic Games. When we finally accomplished that, it actually, I feel like, gave me a really good perspective for the future. You can't ever do that, another first-time medal at the Games again. And it made me realize that the journey is just as important. So even though I'm really focused on one of these guys or multiple of them accomplishing the goal in 2028, I'm also loving the process of what it takes to get there.
All right, whenever you're ready. Our time in Colombia has come to a close. We're here at this big waterfall.
China's lit.
I think it's worth it.
Dude, yeah, this is amazing.
To let the dogs out.
What is up, everybody? It's your boy back at you again with a vlog kind of intro type of thing.
What we do?
Hopefully taking the dub tomorrow.
Oh, baby.
This is my elite triathlon team right here.